Okay, trendsetters, welcome back to Chat with a Hat, another interview with the legend Bailey Sweeny, who is on an absolute mission to take out the championship in TCR Australia this year. G'day, Bales. How you going?
Good yourself?
Yeah, good buddy, good buddy. Didn't get a chance to catch up with you at Sandown on the weekend because I was up playing race car mechanic and crew chief. I got promoted from Windex guy to crew chief in one day. So
Oh, moving up in the world.
I am, mate. Look out. Barry Ryan's got someone who's going to take him down. I know everything now. Baz, you need a tip? Just give me a call. Um, but
I
you were
reckon that
down
was
at
one.
Sandown, zooming around on the filthy weather on Friday, which looked like it improved on the Saturday and Sunday, and so did your results.
Yeah, the forecast was looking pretty dodgy before the weekend, but it all worked out in the world in the end that we only had a wet Friday and the Saturday, Sunday was dry as a bone. So it was a bit chilly, but still shorts and t-shirt weather, so it was all good.
Yeah, we can deal with chilly. Just raining is just shit. There's
Yeah.
nothing good about it.
We
Spectacular for us
expected that
fans, but it's
actually.
no good as a driver, I'm sure.
Oh, it depends what situation you're in. If you're in my situation, you definitely want drive if you're in the championship fight. But if you're in the back and want to jag a result, you're kind of praying for rain. So
Yeah,
depends what.
well, let's talk about that because that's not you at the moment because you have regained the lead of the championship from your teammate Josh. I
Yep.
think you're about 40 points up at the
I
moment.
think 30, low 30s, we've got it out too. So,
589 to 559, 30 points.
yep,
30
definitely.
points. And then Aaron Cameron's hot on Josh's heels at 551.
Cameron's kind of had a solid year just flying under the radar. So, he's kind of
I
popped
don't
up.
think he's under the radar. I think he's actually legitimately having a cracking year.
Yeah, he definitely had a good scene there. But before that, he's kind of, I don't know, in my opinion anyway, he's kind of been there or thereabouts, but he's kind of just been finishing there week in, week out. And here he is third in the championship.
Yeah, he's got Tony D covered at the moment, but Tony gets his new car for the next
Yeah.
round. The new Honda's turning up with the world cars, which we'll get to. So give us a wrap up about your first race on the Saturday. So what's going on with that penalty for Benny Barguana, who's carrying on like a bull in a china shop and hitting anything that's near him?
It wasn't actually with Barguana got the penalty for, it was Manif. So he put a protest in against me for moving twice down the straight. So technically the rule does say you can't move twice, but where I'm a little bit like it's a bit average was I was actually blocking, or not blocking, I was breaking the toe the whole way down the straight in the middle of the track. And then at the end of the straight, I've gone to actually block. And then they've classed that as a double movement.
Yeah,
So then
rightio. Oh, okay. I
5 second
thought it was
penalty.
from Benny because you two were bashing the hell out of each other for the first race.
Yeah, we had a fair bit of contact. So I was on the receiving end of it, not the giving end. But yeah, we had a fair few rubbing panels. That's all racing. So
Yeah, there's no joy on the outside of turn one when some bloke wants to lean on you.
turn one or grass turn one. we
Well, well,
made off the tarmac and I was
yeah, I
half
know,
in the
straight
grass.
off. That's what I mean. Like, at least he got a little bit of runoff out there to try to save it.
Yeah. I think Clementi ended up out there last year, a little bit further wide, and he was stuck in the mud. Is that wet out there? So,
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that gave Willie Brown the pounce. They let him run through on the inside because nobody was hitting him. So
yeah.
he came through and made the most of that little situation.
I jumped on the brakes for turn two with bug one on my left, and all of a sudden Brown's in front of me. He's going right around the outside. So he's
Yeah, you
definitely
made it
brave
too
down the
easy
track.
for him, guys. Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
need any extra help, I can tell you.
He was going full send. So but there was a bit of talk. I don't know if it was true, but in quali whether he was sandbagging for the world rounds. So but I don't know. It wasn't quick in Q1 or Q2, so I'm not sure about that. But he was definitely quick in the races. So it was a shame to see his weekend end the way it did.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in the next thing because that was on the Sunday. So Saturday you finished. Where did you finish? Was it fourth, fifth?
So yeah, we qualified on pole. I got a very average start, and I think we dropped back to fourth and then fifth, and then it kind of just stayed through the whole race, fending off Beneath and Barguana. And then I got the post race penalty, but that I
Yeah.
think dropped us back down to ninth for the reverse good race. But the reason we were struggling so much in race one, we're actually under boost. So our car has got an adjustable boost level,
Yeah.
but all the other cars are electronic. So the conditions changed so that all their boosts went up and mine was still the same. So I think we're 5Ks down the straight and we're
It
losing
looked
half.
like it too. I couldn't work out how your speed was for like that magic lap, the last lap of quali to get pole,
Yeah.
which was absolute blinder, because out of nowhere, like Lockie Manif's all of a sudden on pole in
Yeah.
in last year's Audi, like
Yeah.
Brownie's old car, and he's just put in a blinder. I went, geez, that's fast. Where'd that come from? And then you just trounced him, which was even better. And then in the race pace, you looked like you were really down on some horsepower there.
Yeah, that quality session was a mighty good one to watch. I watched it back that night and I was on the edge of the seat. I knew the results. But yeah, in race one, we just had no power in the straight because like I said, our boost is adjustable and it wasn't quite where it should have been. So
Yeah.
but we'll struggle straight for that one. But yeah, Manif's car is quick on a straight, that old Audi. I think the aero and whatnot mustn't be quite as strong, but down the straight, that thing's got some motor.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, all weekend too. He was good.
Yeah.
He was on the pace all weekend.
He had a very solid weekend. It was a shame to see his weekend end the way it did as well. So
well, that was more on Suter than him, but we'll get to that next. We'll get to that now because that's the Saturday wrapped up. So basically, after your 5-second penalty for the first race on Saturday, you ended up on pole, didn't you? Pole, front row.
I was second.
Second, yeah, front row.
Second's as good as P1 there with the rubber on the racing line. So we'll hum and harm about protesting the penalty because it was pretty, I reckon, average. But obviously, I did break the rules and if you read the fine print. But yeah, so we'll hum and hurry, and then we worked it out that we're going to start second. So we're like, oh, maybe we should just keep our mouth shut.
Yeah, maybe we'll just let this one go.
Yeah. Definitely set us up for the rest of the good weekend. So
you don't want to win the battle and lose the war.
Like... No, exactly. So yeah, the engineer was especially like saying, yeah, we need to keep this one. We'll start second tomorrow and press the reset button. So it worked out well in the end, that's for sure.
And how's your launches off the line at the moment?
Yeah, pretty atrocious.
Hit and miss at the moment.
Yeah, it's mostly miss. So from my perspective, it's all just I press the button and just hope it does a good job. Like I can flip the clutch. So our initial starts are very good, but the second stage where I'm just holding the button and praying is pretty average. So well, we're trying to talk to the guys in Germany, and if they can't get back to us with another program, we're actually going to book our test day just to focus on complete starts. So
just straight manual starts, drop the clutch, slam the right.
Yeah. It's too risky to do it on a race weekend just to go back to manual.
Yeah.
But yeah, at Sandown, the launch control definitely wasn't working in our favor. Like I think we lost 5 positions into turn 1 on the first race, and I started on pole.
Yep, got
Aaron
swamped.
Cameron in the final race blowed our doors off. He had like a 40-meter lead into turn 1. So
yeah. Can't have that.
Is the starts. We got
well, not with Cameron the way he's going at the moment in that Peugeot. Like he's dialed in. So getting on to Sunday, this is much more exciting. This is a much better day. Like the sun was out, guns were out. You're starting on front row for the first of the Sunday races, and you got a cracking launch on this one. Actually, you got a real good start.
One, yeah. I think we still dropped back down to 3rd or 4th, but then everyone kind of hit each other at turn 1, and we popped the head out in 2nd, and quickly got in the 1st and pulled away. So yeah, it was definitely a good race on our behalf, and it couldn't have went much better.
No, you just had a commanding lead on that one. No, nobody was getting near you. Like you had a little bit of pressure from behind, but not that much, not really.
Cameron did a mighty good job in that one. I think he might have even started 8th and got through to 2nd. So that was a
but race. Didn't he get a penalty for outside track limits by coming down the inside, outside the yellow line?
Yeah, to end on the first lap, he passed a couple of cars. Looked
like he passed about 13 cars. Like legit, there's only 14 in the race or 13 in the race. So he just looked like he was going down his own road. He had his own road altogether down that wall.
The Peugeots, because every car's got different launch control. Like they're all BAP and all level, but each car's got their own pros and cons. And definitely pro of the Peugeot is off the start. Those things are absolute rockets. If you start in the side one, you know you're going to lose a position.
Yeah. Well, apparently if you're starting in a row or two in front of him, look behind you because he's coming down the left.
Yeah, I think he had like 20 or 30 k's an hour closing speed on us. It was crazy.
Oh, he looked like he was out of a gun for sure. So that was that race, which gave you, with the combined results from race 1 and the reverse grid race 2, onto pole position for race 3, which is where you like to be.
Yep. And, I almost didn't believe it when I got told I was on pole because I was expecting to be 3rd or 4th. But the way it works this year is actually points for quality. And the final grid is determined by points for the weekend. So because they have points on quality, they actually gave us the pole for the final race. So
but they include that, cool. Do they, as well as the other 2?
Correct. So it's overall points for the weekend. So points from quality, race 1, race
2. And qualifying on pole for first race gives you another 10 points as well.
Yeah, so that made the difference from us being 3rd or 4th to 1st. So it's definitely a good addition having the points for quality because it takes out the sandbagging effect. Like there was talk of Will Brown doing it, but obviously he's way out of the championship. He's focusing on the world events. So
yeah, we can't drop a couple of rounds. there's no chance to come back in
No,
this
there's no way.
7-round calendar.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's focusing on the world events. And he's made that pretty clear in his
Yep.
interviews and statements. So I think
Which
everyone's
is
excited, but he's like, he's taken to another level.
good on him. Good on him. Well, he's got the pace. He's got the car fixed, as we saw in QR. He had the car dialed in and just cleaned up there with 2 wins in a second because Brad Harris
Yep.
in the reverse top 10 second race managed to fight off Cameron and Brown. I don't know how he did it. It was a drive of his life.
He did a very impressive job, that's for sure. So
Talk about blocking.
I'm
He
keen to see
kept
how
his
he's.
nose on that line. He was never leaving that race line at all.
Then he backed that with the P3 in the final race. So he did a mega job. I'm
Yeah,
keen to see
backed it up. Yeah, P3. Yeah.
how his brother goes in these world rounds as well. So
He's
obviously
not a
more
small bloke, is he?
sorry?
Harris, he's not a small bloke.
No, they're a bit of a unit, that's for sure. So I don't know how they make the minimum driver weight of 85 kilos, but they make it work.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't need any BOP because they're carrying it.
Yeah, they have to be overweight for sure. So
Yeah.
they're doing a mega job. Hopefully they have a good end of the year as well.
Yeah, for sure. So then, so the last race, you blew everyone's doors off, and it got a little bit willing behind you because I was watching all this on Stan up in Queensland when I was at Morgan Park, and yeah, Lockie Manif and Zach Suter. Zach runs wide at I think 9, and Lockie
Yep.
saw the gap. Of why wouldn't you? That it's there, the door's open, and then they bashed wheels and tore each other's rims apart.
Yeah, I think Manif all weekend wasn't afraid of having a crack. Like he was making the most of his pace, and then Suda obviously wasn't expecting him to go up there, but like he had the right to be, and yeah, Suda just closed the door unfortunately, and
Yeah.
ended both of their races with Suda had a tire failure, and the next lap Manif had a tire failure.
Yeah,
So.
it was from that same contact. It just took Manif another lap for it to blow up. It's only 2 laps to go in the race at this point.
Yeah. And they let Josh around, so he got 2 positions out of it. So I was like, damn it. And I was watching it back. Like, precious points in the championship heading into the world rounds is critical to have. So
100%. Well, that left that 4-way battle with D'Alberto and Cox and Clementi and Buchan, I think. The 4 of them were all bashing for 3rd spot because
yeah, that's right. There's 4 of them in there, but there's definitely no love lost between D'Alberto and Cox, is there? They'll go.
Nah. I was watching glued to it, seeing who's gonna come on, someone's gonna take someone out. I'm waiting for the post race.
Yeah. There's been all these like manufactured rivalries, but that's definitely not one. Like even on the Thursday when they're getting down there, I can't remember. Someone said they talked to them and they're still fuming about it. So
they've been throwing shade at each other since QR.
Yeah, they haven't cooled down yet, and they're even more fuming after the final race. So
love it.
Carry on.
Oh no, we love that stuff. We love that stuff.
Good.
You know, proper rivalries, and then when you see them line up next to each other, you go, "Oh yeah, it's on here." Because if there's not enough door-to-door racing in TCR, put 2 blokes that are trying to knock each other's head off.
It's good to watch. The racing in general, like at Sandown that weekend, was pretty good. Like when I was watching it back, I was definitely excited. Like the racing was top quality all weekend, so it's good to see.
I agree. That's why I love this category. I love coming down to watch. It was just unfortunate I was double booked.
I reckon that's about the only one you've missed in the last 2
years. It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100% it is. And I was spewing too until I saw Friday on the weather and I went, yeah, I think I made the right call. It's 25 degrees and I'm in Queensland.
Yeah, I think it was 12 degrees and felt like 2 degrees. So you definitely
the wind, 50k an hour winds. Hey, how was that on the effect on the car with that gusty, blustery winds?
You can definitely feel it in the back straight because I think we most time had a crosswind. You can feel it pulling you down the back straight, and obviously with the higher winds, the toe was expanded as well. Like the slipstream was pretty big all weekend, so I think that helped the racing as well. So
yeah, excellent. So leaving all that, actually, you still owe me you owe me some footage from my hot lap in Queensland. If you can't find it, you got to take me around Bathurst.
I can try. I think the Bathurst hot laps are pretty filling up pretty quick. So I've had a fair few people asking for those ones, but yeah, I don't know where the footage is going. I tried to check the SD card and I was only on it. So hopefully someone's got it saved somewhere and I can.
You're a little slacker. You should have given it to me next week, but you're just, bludgeoning around. I wanted to put that up there and show everybody what it's like to go, zoom around in your car, because that was wild. That was a completely different sensation. These front wheel drives compared to rear wheel drives, they make their speed differently. They make their cornering differently. Front wheel power sliding and drifting with the front wheels compared to having the tail, where I'm used to having the tail step out and then you just steer into it. Now you guys are opposite. You're sort of power sliding wide and then you're just pulling it tighter just to pull straight.
Yeah, I think the cars are very underestimated, and like obviously they're only 350 horsepower compared to a 650 horsepower supercar, but like they're not that far off on lap time wise, and they're definitely quick cars. And the fact in the cornering and braking and that, like as you know, you've been in one now, like they're not messing around. They're not like a production car that cruises
Nah.
around. They're full on spec race cars. So
No, that was awesome. No, it was absolutely an eye opener too. Like I can sort of see that realistically, to be perfectly frank, all the skills to be a good TCR driver that you learn to way you have to drive your cars completely at odds with a standard rear wheel drive car. There's not a great deal of crossover in
no,
technique.
a lot of
They're
people
completely.
a lot of people think there is like night and day from a front wheel drive TCR to, let's say, a supercar, for example. But honestly, everything translates. Like, yeah, once you're in there, you got a steering wheel and brakes. And like, even towards like a Trans Am, like when you compare those to a supercar, in a way, I think TCR is almost as close, if not closer. Like, obviously, I haven't got a V8, but like, you got downforce, you got big brakes, you got slick tires. Like, I don't know. They definitely translate to a lot of things where people think they don't. So even Coulthard in the weekend, Fabian Coulthard, I was talking to him before a pre-race interview, and he said he wants to be back in TCR. Like he's enjoying his time in Porsches, but he wants to be back in TCR. So that's how cool the cars are to drive.
Yeah, well, they're definitely cool, and they've got a lot of poke about them too, which is very cool. All right, mate. Well, let's get back to what's coming up, because now we get to the business end where you guys are going to butt heads with the top 10 drivers from around the world who are coming over
Yep.
to our shores to have a crack at Sydney Motorsport Park and then the Bathurst International in November.
Yeah, it's going to be off its head, I think. So there's 10 of the, at least 10, up to 14, I've heard. So the Kumo World TCR drivers coming over for the Bathurst Sydney, what is it, Race Sydney
Yeah,
event.
race Sydney on the 3rd and 4th of November.
Yep. And the
Friday and
Bathurst
Saturday night
International.
under lights.
That's going to be a big one as well. So I think they got some crazy deal for, they got a few deals actually for I think the 2 rounds for $100.
Yep,
So
2 rounds for
all of
$100.
them.
Got my ticket.
And they've also got like a Sydney sort of deal. Like if you're in Sydney and you finish work at 5 o'clock, you can zip over and watch the Friday night race and the Saturday night race for like $20 or something. So it's, you can't get any bang for your buck than that. Like the racing is going to be off the charts with 30 plus cars on the grid, under lights, TCR, best drivers in the world. So for
Yeah,
20
it's
bucks,
going
you
to be
can't beat
mental.
it.
All we need is Sydney to come to the party with the weather, and it'll be an absolute belter of a weekend. In November, we shouldn't be getting hopefully not too much spring rain and stuff coming through. So the only thing that'll make it a little bit is if it's belting rain, because then it's hard enough to get Sydney people to go to Eastern Creek at the best of times.
The thing I was surprised about too, like you say that you can't get people to Sydney, but went to the World Time Attack event a couple of
Yeah,
weeks
how
ago.
was that?
It was off the charts. There was so many people there. You couldn't even like your butt and elbows everywhere you go around. Like they do a very good job of off the track. Like they have a lot of like marquees set up. Hyundai had a big presence there. I think they're the only manufacturer. But even just the aftermarket like companies and that, they have big stalls set up there, and the crowds just love it. So
I saw
they do
Timmy
a very
Slade
good
blew
job.
everyone's doors away and set the new record in
He
that.
was in the second class, so he got the second record. I think Bart Moyer, I think I've just butchered his name, did an absolute cracker lap of a 1 minute 17, I think. So he was like 8 seconds up the road from Slady. So
Yeah, right.
the
Yeah, that's
cars are
cool.
crazy. You look at them and they're about 4 meters wide for the aero and stuff they got on them.
What was he on? What was he racing in?
It's a Porsche, but it doesn't look like a Porsche. Yeah,
It's like a little baby Porsche with about mega whale tails and mega front
yeah.
splitters. It looks like an LMP car or a prototype or something.
Yeah, it's crazy to look at. So it's got an exhaust out the door.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Yeah, so that's coming up, everybody. The 3rd and the 4th of November up at Sydney
Yep.
Motorsport Park. Get your butts down there for the first of 2 world rounds for the Kumo TCR World Challenge.
Do I?
And then the following weekend, it's the Bathurst International up at the mountain, which last year was mental. Last year, remember that?
Yeah.
The weather didn't help us out for a little while, and then it was a bit ordinary. And
Yeah.
you and Jay Hansen just going toe to toe about 10 seconds up the field across the top of the mountain.
Yeah, that was an awesome race. Jay and I were pushing ourselves to the limit, that's for sure. And it definitely showed when he made a little mistake and how big the consequences are. Like that car had a heavy hit. So
Yeah, unfortunately, because then, yeah, you guys were driving 11 tenths.
yeah, we're definitely doing quite laps every lap of the race. Like it showed when we had, like you said, a 10-second gap to the cars behind. Like we're definitely going for it. So, and the TCR driver quality is like, I think, underestimated as well. Like you have high quality drivers come in like Coulthard and like they struggle at first and they're at the top of supercars. So on top of Porsches, he jumped straight into Porsches and was quick, and took him a little while to adjust to the TCR competition. So
Yep, cool. So I'm definitely coming up there for that one. I'll be there for the both. These are the last 2 rounds for your calendar season this year.
yep.
Then Mad Monday off to Bali, and and so 100% be up there for both of those. Very keen to get into those. Not just your guys there. Now, when Willie Brown and old mate didn't put his oil cap on and decided to pump all the engine oil out and destroy his motor, were they in the garage next to you?
No, they were a fair bit further down.
A little bit further down this time, so you
Yep.
couldn't hear what was going on and what was being said next door as spanners
No.
have been thrown around.
I got a radio message saying he's out of the race, but a couple of laps before that, even our engineers spotted the oil up the side of the car. So I think it was a little bit of an error with the oil cut coming off, and they also made an error not pulling him in because
Did that get onto the circuit?
I did a little bit, but not too bad. So most of it was down the side of his car. So
Yeah,
they had oil pressure light come on, and you could visually see the oil down the side of the car, and they continued to press on. So
and your transmission, you had some issues on the Friday with your gearbox.
Yeah, the Friday, we were pretty lucky when it failed, to be honest. We had 10 minutes to go in practice too. And I knew something was off in the car all Friday, but the boys couldn't quite pick what it was. And they said, just press on. And then, 10 minutes to go in practice too. It's all gone clunk, 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 clunk. And it's done a diff. And then it's put all metal into the gearbox. So the boys were there at 10 o'clock that night trying to fix it up. And Josh's car had untimely failure as well. He'd done a gearbox as well. So the boys are pulling 2 gearboxes out and a diff that night. So they were there late.
But he's in the sedan, like not the Elantra. They're completely different gearboxes, aren't they? Or are they the same?
No, the car does show a lot of stuff. The gearbox, diff, and engine are the same.
Right. So the running gear is the same, but everything else is different. Wheelbase, chassis.
Yeah, chassis and
suspension.
wheelbase. That car's a lot better designed. So
Yeah, okay, fair enough. He's just trying to find some more straight line pace. I think they're still hunting, aren't they?
yeah, I think it just doesn't. I don't know if it's just his driving style isn't suited or not, but yeah, those cars are very quick overseas, and they're leading the world championship this year and won the world championship last year. So I think that's definitely the car to have the Hyundai stable. So I'm looking forward to trying to get my hands on one of those next year.
Yeah, cool. So for the rest of this year, in the next 2 rounds coming up, who's your hardest competition that you got to keep your eye on? I mean, I suppose if you're reading down the actual list of drivers' standings, that's probably it. But
Yeah.
But on a race by race, I mean, the only one that's not really there that's going to cause you some grief and steal some points is Will Brown because of missing a couple of rounds.
Yeah, for sure. So I think from my perspective, you just look at the championship and go, obviously Cameron, Josh, and even TD's kind of half in the picture still. And then you've got a few guys that are going to steal points off all of us. I think Zach Suter's going to have a strong end of the year, and also Will Brown and those new Gen 2 Audis. So the 2 tracks coming up are definitely going to suit them. I think so.
And Tony's an unknown quantity because he's getting his new Honda Civic. Because last year at the International at Bathurst, his car was in the weeds. He was sitting 12th. All he had to do was finish 11th or something to win the championship, which he did by 2 points from Brownie or something at the end of the day, because Brown won the Sunday race.
Yeah.
But whether this new Honda's going to give him.
I've heard that it's the same engine, but obviously it's a very different package. I think it might have a little bit of a different tune. But you say it doesn't suit the track, but I don't know, he mustn't have just been gelling and the championship was on his mind last year or something. But because earlier in the year at the April Bathurst 6-hour round, the Honda actually qualified 4th in Tim Slade's hands. So it can be a very capable car. It's just if you have it in the
Maybe
window.
he's getting too old. I'll tell TD you said that.
No, he's definitely top of his game. He won a race in the weekend. It was quick, but I don't know if the championship was on his mind that weekend and he was a bit out of it or not. But yeah,
Well,
I
he
think
won his championship last year on consistency.
100%. I think Cox reminded him of that too.
Oh, yeah, he did too. He
Yeah.
did too.
No, you
Yeah.
can't
But
take it
then
away
again,
from him. However
Tony's looking at it going, well, I've got the championship. How you going?
Yeah, however you win it, you win it. So he was the
Yeah.
best driver last year, and yeah, the championship shows that.
Oh, I can't wait for those two to come together again in Sydney. It's just going to be mint.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, isn't it? Like,
At the moment, they're fighting each other on the circuit too. Like they're in the same space on the same track. It's a bit like the old Waters and Mostert back in the day.
yeah, you see them together and they just attract and they hit each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't help it.
Yeah, we love it, mate. Love it. As long as you're in front of it, like that's all we want.
Gloves off. It's good for the TV.
Yeah, 100%. No, the only thing Stan have to do is actually improve their coverage by the actual not starting at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. That's just rubbish.
I don't think that's going to be a thing for too much longer, but I can't say anything.
Yeah, give us what Stan or the actual short coverage, just only starting when the TCRs hit the circuit.
The short coverage. That's going.
Yeah, good, because we want Friday as well, and we want to see the supports. I mean, look at the undercard you guys have got with the Trans Ams or TA2s, sometimes S5000s, the Kumo V8s zooming around. They're giving some relatively good racing between a couple of mates.
The whole speed series format and categories is very impressive. So there's a lot of exciting news that we can't say yet, but we've been told that's on the horizon. So
tell me, I won't tell anyone.
Watch this space. I think
nobody listens to this anyway, mate. It's just you and me. I just do it for my own enjoyment.
The first thing that they actually have announced is the 10 rounds next year. So
yes,
not all of them are TCR, but yeah,
no.
Speed series are doing 10 rounds, an expanded format. So
yes, they have. They're doing a back-to-back at QR. I've got the little calendar here, the proposed calendar. So you guys won't do the bend?
We'll do the second of the double event. So there's a double QR and a double Sydney. We'll do the second of those.
Yep.
And I think we might miss the Sandown, but I'm not too sure. I think we'll start in Tassie.
Why would you miss Sandown?
I think it's just a thing that TCR's always started in Tassie. I reckon that's. I'm not sure, but I think
they actually don't even have Sandown on here.
Sandown's the first one.
Oh, it is too. I've got to go up a page.
Yeah.
So you guys might not be at Sandown in round one.
I'm not sure, and that's all I think. So
going to kick off in Tassie again.
Yeah, there has been a pretty cool rumor as well saying there might be a Darwin round. So
and maybe the one that says TBC in August.
Yeah, one of them I think is going to be Darwin round. So that's the talk. So one of them is going to be a far north Queensland round. Let's just say that. And there's only two options: Darwin and not Queensland, far north round. So
like Townsville or
correct or Darwin. I'm hoping for Darwin.
Well, they've got that new circuit outside of Townsville. Not Reed Park, but they built a new one, a new race.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, I think they were talking about Reed Park though. So
yeah, well, that'd be cool. I mean, Reed Park, it's just literally 20 minutes walk from the CBD, or it's a 6-minute scooter, and that's the only way to get there.
I raced there a couple times at 6, and it's a pretty cool track. So either Darwin or Townsville TCRs would be off the charts there. So I'm keen for the calendar next year, that's for sure. Mix it up a little bit. And the bend as well. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, so you are doing the bend?
Yeah, the bend is 100%.
Yep.
So that's going to be awesome. The cars haven't raced there since 2019, and everyone's sort of reminiscent of it and say how good it was. So I'm excited to go back.
Oh, well, that's all next year. So anyway, eyes forward for this one. So congratulations, mate, on taking back the championship lead from your teammate, Josh. Hopefully he can just get a little bit of poke out of his and give you some rear gun action and try to fend off Tony D and Coxie.
Yep.
And Aaron Cameron. Like, if we can just keep, I mean, there's only 10 points between Tony and Jordan. Tell me this is not set up for someone just drilling someone, just coming through them.
Yeah, they definitely put on a good show and setting up a good stage for the final couple rounds. So I'm keen to see what happens between those two.
Yeah, for sure. All right, mate. Well, thanks for the wrap up. It was just a short one. So everybody jump onto Bailey Sweeny Racing's Facebook page. You still got some merch left, or have you sold all your shirts out?
No, we've got plenty in stock for the world round, so we've got more coming. But yeah, we can message me on Facebook, or we'll have some for sale at the track by card or by cash. So
Yep,
come
mate,
down the
they're a
track
good
and grab
looking
some.
shirt. Absolutely, absolutely loving them. There's a red and a blue. This is obviously the red. And it's not because if you're a Ford or a Holden fan, like I initially thought, I overthought it. It's more to do with the stickers on the cars. One's predominantly blue, one's predominantly red. So who knew? And what's that behind us? Just bring those little trophies over there. Hold them up to the camera, mate. These are the spoils of the weekend, aren't they?
This is a little bit of the collection. I got two from the weekend. I
Look at
brought them
that.
in for the
Big fat number ones. Like it.
hoping to get a bigger number one for the end of the year. That's the goal. Championship one.
And just quietly, these ones have the right, round and date on them, not like
Yep, they're all
last
good.
year
I've
when you
double
weren't
checked
allowed to
it.
show them too hard because they were from the previous year.
Another cool thing that I hope we haven't fact checked yet, but after the weekend, I think my TCR car might be the most successful TCR car in Australia.
Really?
Yeah. So I think, I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, but Will Brown's HMO car was the most successful.
Yeah.
And it's got 7 stickers on the door. And as of last round, mine's got 8 stickers on the door. So
Lovely.
I haven't fact checked it, but yeah, we
Oh,
think
mate, we'll go with that.
make
I
the
just fact
headlines.
checked it for you. That's it. We've got the most successful winning racing driver in TCR history in Australia, Bailey Sweeny. Thank you very much for coming on and having a bit of a quick wrap up from Sandown. Good luck at Sydney. I'll catch up with you there on the Friday night. And
Sounds good.
yeah, all going well. You'll just keep dominating and racking up those points and take out the big trophy at the end of the year at the International.
I can't wait to get put on a show for these world cars when they come over and hopefully steal some of their drives next year.
Yeah, you're going to have your work cut out. I don't think you'll have it just as easy with these blokes coming from overseas. It looks like there's some pretty red hot, fast peddlers out there. So
Yeah, those world guys don't mess around. They're in the World Series for a reason because they're the best. So
yeah,
there's over like, I don't know, I want to say a figure of 500 TCR cars in the world, and they're in the top 15. So if that doesn't say enough, like,
where are you
yeah,
parked up? About 40, 45?
yeah, we've struggled a little bit this year because with the format, if you have less cars, it hurts your award points.
You
So I
don't
think
get the multipliers on your wins.
correct. Yeah, so I think we're at the moment, it's only Will Brown and myself who's going to qualify for the world final. So we're about 45th, I think, at the moment. In
Yeah,
the top
oh, well, fingers
20.
crossed we just keep them going. Because, I mean, to be perfectly frank, I think you told us last time the cutoff for the eligibility for the bonus points is
Yep.
before we get there. Like it's now, like the
Yeah, so
cutoff.
30th of September is the cutoff.
Yeah.
So
So
2
the
days
world
later,
rounds, you don't get any bonuses. You don't get anything. It is what it is.
yeah, 2 days later after the cutoff, we're in track with the world tour. So
Oh, I know that hurts, eh?
as long as you make it, I won't be salty.
Yeah. 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 All right, mate. I'll let you get back to your real life and see you up in Sydney.
See you at Sydney. Thanks for the chat.
No, mate. Thanks. Good luck with that. And talk soon.
Gotcha.
Cheers. Just gotta chop this. Oh,